Welcome back to my channel, guys. It's Diva the Divine Light. Make sure you hit that like button, share and subscribe, hit the notification bell on your way in and out. Welcome, guys. The song that's playing right now is from Aaliyah, and it's called Enough Said, and it features Drake, and it came out in 2012. It's a beautiful ballad. I like it. Enjoy it. And I'm going to be talking to you guys today about R. Kelly's 2002 defense and his motion and what happened with the child pornography case and why it was thrown out, as well as talking about the Sixth Amendment. And so, December 2nd, alleged pedophile R. Kelly is one inventive guy. The 36-year-old R&B singer is under indictment on child porn charges in Florida, where he allegedly posed illicit still images, and Illinois, where he supposedly filmed himself with a young girl. When he was nabbed earlier this year in Miami, Kelly told cops, according to the below police report, that former managers might have been trying to set him up, taking pictures of people that look like me, converting with the underaged. Kelly has now extended that defense, as it were, to his Cook County case, according to a motion filed yesterday, while simultaneously questioning whether his video co-star was a minor. Kelly notes that he might mount a computer morphing defense. The performer, it seems, may argue that some unknown conspirators digitally dropped him into the raunchy video, or perhaps replaced his age of consort with a computer-generated partner based on an actual minor girl. This trap should be a hoot, especially when Kelly's legal team calls George Lucas as its first defense witness. Call it the industrial light and magic defense. Isn't that a hoot, y'all? They're saying that this trial was a fucking racket, okay? And I'm going to read the motion to y'all. And here we have a motion that was put in back in 2002 for R. Kelly's trial. And it was to dismiss indictment for failure to specify the date of the alleged offenses. And it says, Defendant Kelly's motion to dismiss indictment for failure to specify the date of the alleged offenses. Defendant Robert Kelly, by his attorneys, pursuant to the 6th and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution, Article T and 3 of the Illinois Constitution, and 725 ILCS 5/111-3 and 5/114-1, respectfully moves the Honorable Court to enter an order dismissing the indictment for failure to specify the date of the alleged offenses. In support of this motion, the following is offered. The Sixth Amendment provides that in and all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation. U.S. Const. Amend 6. To pass constitutional muster, an indictment must state all of the elements of the charged offense, inform the accused of the nature of the charge so that a defense can be prepared, and specify the charged conduct so that a double jeopardy bar may be raised. Russell versus United States, 369 U.S. 749, 1962. Broad allegations do not satisfy this constitutional standard as noted in the United States versus, I can't see that last word there, 92, 542, 558, 1875. The Sixth Amendment requires a charging instrument to descend to particulars. See also Russell 369 U.S. at 765, 768 N15, requiring a statement of the facts and circumstances of an offense. And it says something retains undiminished something. I do apologize, guys, about this reading. Some of these words are discombobulated only because they're really small, and it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, it looks like. So I'm doing the best I can to read it to you guys as best as I can, okay? These pleading standards have footing in Illinois law. The Illinois Constitution provides that the accused shall have the right to demand the nature and cause of the accusation. 2 constitute Art 1 and 3. As noted by the Illinois Supreme Court, this construing, I think that's what that says, construing the former state constitutional provision. The purpose of this quantity is to secure to the accused such specific designation of the offense charged against him as will enable him to fully prepare for his defense, and to plead the judgment in bar of a subsequent prosecution for the same offense. People versus Peters 10 ill, I guess it says 2D 577530141 Northeast 2nd 910. I said Northeast NE 2D9 10 1957. See also People versus Greco. And then it has a whole bunch of numbers behind it. Then it says, concerning pleading requirements, refraining to the date of an offense. The Illinois Supreme Court has held that an information must allege the commission of an offense on a certain date prior to the return of the information, which must be within the time fixed by law for prosecution of the offense. People versus McGowan, all these numbers, similarly to the Illinois complied statutes require that a criminal charge inter alta state the date of the offense as definitely as can be done. In this case, the indictment fails to allege that the offenses were committed on a date certain. Rather, each count of the indictment alleges that the offenses, which are not continuing offenses and could only have occurred sometime during a single day, occurred sometime between November 1st of 1997 and February 1st, 2002. The allegation that the offenses occurred on sometime during a something year period, it looks like 25-year period, transgresses the state and federal constitutional mandates that a charging instrument inform the accused of the nature and cause of the allegation. The broad date allegations substantially impairs defendant Robert Kelly's ability to prepare a defense. See People versus Odd, and then it has a bunch of numbers behind that. So his defense is trying to say that because they're estimating a time frame and they don't have an exact date, that they should just drop those charges, especially the ones of the still pictures that don't have time stamps on them or whatever, so they don't want to charge him. They don't want him to be charged with that because it doesn't have a specific date. So they're trying to get the judge to drop the charges for that reason. And this guy is like this, like they said in the article, he's inventive. And it says, perjury indictment that did not set forth alleged false statement was insufficient in that it deprived the defendant of information necessary for preparation of an offense. See also People versus Fields, and then it has a whole bunch of numbers. Indictment that included sultry language of money banking status, but did not specify either financial transaction or criminally derived property was fatally deficient. People versus Jurdies, and then it has a whole bunch of numbers. It says obstruction of justice indictment insufficient, where it referred to two something statements maybe, but did not indicate which was the horse of the charge. I don't know what that says exactly. People versus Varbo, and then it has a bunch of numbers. Indictment that lacked description of specific conduct conduct deemed insufficient. This is far more than a boilerplate claim. It is no secret that Mr. Kelly is a well-known musician who frequently travels. By failing to narrow the date of the charged offense, Mr. Kelly is wholly deprived of the opportunity to bring an alibi defense. Furthermore, computer morphing is known to occur in child pornography cases, as stated in, Ashcraft versus Free Speech Coalition, and then it has a bunch of numbers. Then it says computer morphing is a more common and lower leach means of creating virtual images rather than creating original images. Photographers can alter innocent pictures of real children so that the children appear to be engaged in sexual activity. See also People versus Alexander. By not specifying the date of the offense, Mr. Kelly's ability to bring a defense based on computer morphing is hampered. A showing that the videotape in this case was morphed would have far more persuasive effect if Mr. Kelly could also establish that he was elsewhere when the offenses were alleged to have occurred. In addition, Mr. Kelly is legally prejudiced by the unspecific date allegations in the indictment. As noted in defense Kelly's motion to dismiss counts 15 through 21 based upon ex post facto violation portions of 720 ILCS 515-11-20 as charged in counts 15 through 21 did not go into effect until June 30th, 1999. Without more precise specification of the date of the offenses charged in counts 15 through 21, Mr. Kelly is prejudiced in his ability to show that statutory provisions he is alleged to have violated were not even in existence at the time of the alleged offenses. By charging that the offenses occurred on some day within a 4.25 year period, the age of the supposed victim at the time of the offense cannot be ascertained. This prejudices Kelly's ability to demonstrate the irrationality of laws that do not criminalize sexual conduct with a 17-year-old, but make taking pictures of the same a crime. See Defendant Kelly's motion to dismiss indictment based on violation of the state constitution's proportionate penalties and due process clause. The failure to allege a specific date also prejudices Mr. Kelly's ability to bring a statute of limitation challenge, especially in the light of the fact that the offenses, according to the indictment, could have occurred more than 3 years before the indictment's return. Wherefore, based on the foregoing, Defendant Robert Kelly respectfully moves this honorable court to hold hearing on this motion, dismiss the indictment with prejudice, and or grant any other equitable and appropriate relief. So they dropped 7 charges out of the 21, and the remainder is what they charged him for. So basically they're just saying he can't put up a defense and say, oh, well, my alibi is I was here and I was there, or I wasn't there, because there's no exact date and time of the offense. So that's why they wound up dropping some charges from his 2002 trial. And it went from 21 counts to -7. That's, like 14 or something like that? So that's what happened there. And he got away with that because of that right there. And this right here is the incident report that the officer put in to when they went to stake out R. Kelly and tried to arrest him in Florida. It says here that this is the narrative, and it says the date and time of the report was January 22nd, 2003. And it says that on January 15, 2003, I was contacted by Assistant State Attorney Brad Copley, who advised he had obtained a warrant for the arrest of Robert Kelly, the suspect in this case. On January 17, 2003, Sergeant Mann, badge number 2978, and I traveled to Miami since Mr. Kelly's itinerary indicated he would be arriving at the Wyndham Grand Bay Hotel on January 18th of 2003. The hotel was located at 2669 South Bay Shore Drive, Miami. We advised him of the warrant. We made contact with Detective Gady Saralta of the Metro-Dade Police Department and advised him of the warrant. We conducted surveillance on the hotel, awaiting Mr. Kelly's arrival on the 18th. Mr. Kelly did not arrive on the 18th. Surveillance has conducted until 2300 hours on the 21st, with negative results. Mr. Kelly arrived during the early morning hours of the 22nd at an unknown time on the morning of the 22nd. We began surveillance at the hotel and observed a tour bus style motor home parked on the side of the hotel. This was the typical pattern for Mr. Kelly based on information provided by Investigator Jack Kelly of the Cook County State Attorney's Office. At approximately 800 hours, we began to monitor activity around the tour bus. At approximately 9:30 hours, an unidentified black male subject exited the tour bus, and male subject exited the VIP door with the hotel bellman. They began putting clothing onto the tour bus. At approximately 10:20 hours, several subjects exited the VIP door. One was able to identify one of the subjects as Robert Kelly. We asked Mr. Kelly to step off the bus so that we could talk to him. Mr. Kelly went with us into the VIP entrance of the hotel, where we Miranda'd rights. Detective Gady Sarata of the Metro-Dade Police Department arrived. Mr. Kelly was taken into custody and transported to the Metro-Dade Police Department headquarters for warrant processing. At approximately 11:45 hours, I conducted an interview with Mr. Kelly. Regarding this case, I asked Mr. Kelly if he knew what the warrant was about. He stated it was about some pictures of a girl. I asked him if he knew who was in the pictures. He stated, someone that is supposed to look like me, I guess. I asked him why he would say that. He stated he has former managers that might be trying to set him up, taking pictures of people that look like me. He provided a name of a manager, but before I could get the name written down, he stated he would rather not repeat the name. I asked Mr. Kelly if he would like to look at the pictures so that he could have a chance to explain them. He stated he was advised not to look at any pictures or talk about any pictures by his attorneys. At approximately 12:30 hours, Mr. Kelly was transported to the Dade County Jail, where he was booked in without incident. On January 30th, 2003, I traveled to blank to conduct interviews with subjects who were able to identify the juvenile female in the photos. The interviews were taped. See transcripts for details. At approximately 1700 hours, blank, I met with blank individual who identified himself as the uncle of blank, the juvenile female in the photographs. I swore Mr. Blank in and conducted a tape interview. The interview was conducted at his home located at blank Mr. Blank was able to identify photographs of Blank face that were cropped from the subject photos. At approximately 1800 hours, I met with Blank individually, who identified herself as the aunt of Blank, the juvenile female in the photographs. Mr. Blank was able to identify Blank in the photographs shown to her. I swore Miss Blank in and conducted a taped interview with her. I placed the original cassette tapes in evidence after making copies for transcript. The photos used for identification were also placed into evidence with signatures from both parties on them. R. Kelly strikes again. Another R. Kelly child porn bust. This is the second time he got caught while he was still on trial for the videotapes. They went and arrested him in Florida, search warrant, and weren't supposed to be in a certain area, and that's how he got away with this second time. And the article goes like this. Singer R. Kelly was arrested this morning, 1:22, in Miami, on a warrant charging him with 12 counts of possession of child pornography. According to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, a search of the 36-year-old performer's Davenport, Florida home turned up 12 digital images recovered from Kelly's camera equipment that depicted sexual activity by a female who was under 18 years of age. Several images also depicted the R&B star involved in sexual conduct with the female minor. The Florida search was conducted in June 2002, when Kelly was arrested in his Sunshine State home pursuant to an arrest warrant issued in Chicago. Cook County, Illinois prosecutors have charged Kelly with 21 counts of child pornography in connection with his videotaping of a variety of sex acts with a minor girl in his Chicago home. Copies of that video tape, which was anonymously sent last year to the Chicago Sun-Times, have turned up on street corners nationwide. Kelly, whose first name is Robert, faces up to 60 years in prison on the Florida charges and 15 years on the Chicago counts. And that's what happened there. So he was in the middle of his investigation and trial in 2002 for the videotapes. Now they go to arrest him in Florida, and they find more digital stuff and pictures this time of him doing things. Well, actually, the girl doing things to him. And yeah, so we're going to talk about that. I have the indictment for that as well. And it's crazy, you know, it's really crazy. So, as I said, this is the actual indictment in the Circuit Court of the 10th Judicial Circuit in and for Polk County, State of Florida. State of Florida versus Robert Kelly. 1, possession of child pornography. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Possession of child pornography. In the name and by authority of this state of Florida, Jerry Hill, State Attorney of the 10th Judicial Circuit, by and through his undersigned Assistant State Attorney, charges Robert S. Kelly between April 6, 2002 and June 7, 2002 in the county of Polk and state of Florida did knowingly possess a photograph, representation, or other presentation, to wit, Exhibit 24 JPG, which to whole or in part, Robert S. Kelly know to include sexual conduct by a child, contrary to Florida State 827-07153DEGFEL Level 1. Count 2. Informant, as foresaid under oath, further information makes that Robert S. Kelly between April 6, 2002 and June 7, 2002 in the county of Polk and state of Florida did knowingly possess a photograph, representation, or other presentation, to wit, Exhibit 25 JPG, which in whole or in part Robert S. Kelly knew to include sexual conduct by a child, contrary to Florida statute, and a whole bunch of numbers behind it. Count number 3. Informant, as foresaid under oath, further information makes that Robert S. Kelly between April 6, 2002 and June 7, 2002 in the county of Polk, state of Florida did knowingly possess a photograph, representation, or other presentation, to wit, Exhibit 26 JPG, which is whole or in part Robert S. Kelly know to include sexual conduct by a child, contrary to the Florida statute, and then the whole bunch of numbers behind that. Count 4. It repeats itself that the foresaid under oath. Further information makes that R.S. Kelly between April 2002, June 2002 in County, Florida, did knowingly possess a photograph, representation, or other presentation to Exhibit 27, which in whole or in part that Robert S. Kelly knew to include sexual conduct by a child. So count 5. It says, informant, as foresaid under oath, further information makes that Robert S. Kelly between April 2002 and June 2002 in the county of Polk, state, Florida, did knowingly possess a photograph, representation, and presentation, Exhibit 28, which in whole or part that Robert S. Kelly knew to include sexual conduct by a child, contrary to Florida. And all of these are all level 1 offenses, and they all basically say the same thing. Count 6 says the same thing, that Robert S. Kelly knew to include sexual conduct by a child. So all of these offenses are the same. It's all about the pictures that they found in Florida. And it goes from count 5 all the way down to 12. And it's all redundant. It's the same thing. And so he was charged with 12 counts in Florida of child pornography. And it was in still pictures, not videotapes. And that got thrown out of court. Like, the whole thing got thrown out of court. That was a hot mess. Because the investigators, like I said, they picked him up because they had a warrant for what was going on. In the part of the warrant, they went to grab him, they took him down, then they did a search warrant, and that's where things got messed up from there. So they wound up letting him go, and the case was dismissed due to improper search and seizure, I guess, as they want to call it. So there you have it. That's the end of that. And this next thing is also his bond and how much he had to pay. It has 12 possessions of child pornography, and each one cost, I want to say that says $1,000. So $1,000 for the 12 counts, that's $12,000 he had to pay. That was his bond amount for those pictures. Convict R. Kelly, 2020. Keep him locked under the jail. March 17th, Florida prosecutors today dropped all 12 counts of possession of child pornography filed against R&B singer R. Kelly in January 2003. According to the below notice filed in Polk County, the decision by Circuit Court Judge Dennis Maloney last Thursday to suppress photographs allegedly showing the singer having sex with an underage girl meant the state cannot prove this case without the evidence. The 37-year-old star in the Circuit Court of the 10th Judicial Circuit in and for Polk County, Florida, State of Florida versus Robert S. Kelly. Case number 532-003-CF196-01XXX. Charges are possession of child pornography, 12 counts. Notice of null, prosy, and then whatever. It says Bradford H. Copley, as Assistant State Attorney, gives notice that the above styled cause is hereby terminated and dismissed for the following principal reasons, to wit. The defendant in this case is charged with 12 counts of possession of child pornography based on 12 pictures of an underage girl involved in sexual situations with the defendant, Mr. Kelly, and with an unidentified woman. These pictures that were found in Mr. Kelly's possession have been suppressed by the court, and the state cannot prove this case without the evidence. Certificate of service. I hereby certify that a true copy of the foregoing has been furnished to Mr. Ron Toward, Post Office Box, yada, 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 and Miss Diane Berger, and her address as well, on this 17th day of March 2004. So they dismissed these 12 pictures because they couldn't submit it into evidence because of the fact, like I said, that the cops went in and searched in a place they weren't supposed to, so it was an illegal search. So they wound up throwing it out. Ain't that about a bitch? So here we have, in the state of Florida, ordering an order to grant defendant's motion to suppress his evidence. It says, a hearing on the defendant's motion to suppress evidence was held in Bartow on March 11th, 2004. Okay, so that other paper that I read, I thought it looked like it said 17, but it's March 11, 2004. The question is whether the attached affidavit entitled Statements of Facts Construing Probable Cause establishes probable cause to believe Kelly possessed child pornography. Considering the affidavit in the light most favorable to the state, it contains the following. 1. Kelly is charged by indictment with 21 counts of child pornography in Chicago. 2. In a residence he rents in Florida, Kelly maintains a private room which he keeps locked with a sign on the door stating, "Private, do not enter." 3. As a result of an earlier search warrant for cannabis, the police entered that room and found commercially manufactured adult videotapes, other unmarked videotapes, and 4 video cameras in different locations in the room. Nothing would be gained by a lengthy explanation of the applicable law on search and seizure. Suffice it to say that the information provided in the probable cause affidavits in, and then it says an example, yada, 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 yada. So you see what happened there? So did you hear that, y'all? Number 3, it says that there were videotapes, and more than one, because it says tapes, and others were unmarked videotapes, and 4 video cameras in different locations in the room. So he had 4 cameras set up in this private room. He had this set up in this private room, 4 cameras, and they found videotapes. I'm wondering if those videotapes, because it says that he wanted to suppress the evidence. So what does that mean? That means the government had the tapes in possession, so what did they do? They just returned it back to him? Is that what that means? They returned those videos back to him? Or does that mean that they weren't going to use the evidence and that the government was holding the videos? So I'm saying to myself, maybe that's how Avenatti and everybody else came out with all these other videos, because this was still held in evidence. I wonder about that. So here is a statement of facts constituting probable cause. So this is the whole reason why that they had to throw this out of court. This was the probable cause, whatever, right? I'm going to try to read this the best I can. As you can see that this is not like a great copy. Well, that's why I threw it in black and white, so maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to read this off. So like I said, you guys, I'm going to try to read this the best I can, okay? It says, your something, Robert Mateo. Oh, your officer. I guess Robert Mateo is a duly appointed law enforcement official employed by the Polk County, Florida Sheriff's Office, and has been so employed for approximately 6 years and 11 months. Your officer is currently a detective with the Special Investigations Section, something suppression, gang suppression, and says something, I guess, illegal unit, and have been so assigned for the past 4 years. Your officer has received over 1,200 hours in general law enforcement training, and your officer is certified by the state of Florida criminal justice something standards and training communion instructor for the law enforcement academy. All right, so it's just saying that he's an official officer, and your officer has been involved in execution of approximately 10 search warrants. So they're trying to say that the officer that went in, he was fairly new. He didn't have a lot of experience. So it was his mess up by doing that. So that's the excuse they're giving. And then it says, on June 5th, 2002, your officer was, it looks like I want to say contacted by Lieutenant Robert Hambensheimer or something like that of the Chicago Police Department regarding an arrest warrant which was issued for Mr. Robert S. Kelly, black male, 1/8/1967 as date of birth. The warrant was issued after a grand jury indictment in reference to 12 counts of child pornography was obtained. The indictment was returned after the grand jury was provided with evidence that Mr. Kelly had in the past allegedly videotaped himself having sex with a female under the age of 18. On June 5th, 2002, your officer located and arrested Mr. Robert S. Kelly at approximately 1600 hours. As seen, Mr. Kelly was seen leaving 225 Gulf Course Parkway, Davenport, Florida, during the course of the investigation. it was determined that Mr. Kelly was also renting the residence located at 704 Golf Course Parkway, Davenport, Florida, which housed 3 business associates and was also used as a recording studio. Mr. Kelly is employed by Jive Records as a rhythm and blues singer. Content to search the residence of 704 Golf Course Parkway was obtained from the 3 subjects that are staying there. The 3 subjects were identified as Brandon something Hall, Andrew N. Chalice or something, maybe it says, and Donnie Light or Donnie Lyle. It says during the course of the something to search a green leafy substance was found inside the residence and was field tested and determined to be marijuana. A search warrant was obtained by Detective Henry Art of the Polk County Sheriff's Office, and the residence was searched. Your officer was present during the execution of the search warrant. Your officer was assigned to assist in the search of bedroom identified by the 3 subjects as being Mr. Kelly's private room. Affixed to the door was a piece of paper with a computer-generated sign that said, "Private, do not enter." Your officer began to search the room and located what appeared to be an unusual amount of commercially manufactured and distributed adult videos on that would be kept at a location allegedly being used to conduct business for a short amount of time. During the search of a black nylon duffel bag, your officer located 2 adult movies and a video camera that was concealed with a white towel. Detective John Joyner was searching a closet in the bedroom and located 2 other commercially manufactured adult videotapes. Your officer also observed 4 video cameras in different locations in the bedroom. Your officer observed the same of the camera operated using what is referred to a memory stick, which holds the digital images taken using the camera and can be read using peripheral media attached to a computer. Your officer also observed a compact laptop computer on the dresser of the bedroom. Several other adult videotapes, along with several unmarked videotapes, were observed in a portable cabinet which appeared to travel with Mr. Kelly and holds a large screen television, VCR, and other audio video equipment. Your officer believes that based on the indictment against Mr. Kelly, along with the unusual amount of adult video media located in the bedroom, which was supposedly being rented temporarily while Mr. Kelly was to be in the area, probable cause exists to seize and examine the contents of the video camera, videotapes, photographs, and digital recording media, as well as the laptop computer that was located in the bedroom for the purpose of determining if they contain any image of child's pornography. Wow, that was crazy to read. But I did the best I could with that shit. Listen, did you hear what it said? They found a cabinet, like a traveling cabinet, full of unmarked videotapes that traveled with Mr. Kelly. It looks like that could travel with Mr. Kelly. So I'm wondering if this cabinet, he travels with it, he takes it back and forth everywhere with him. This is what he was doing. He was hiding all of that stuff. He probably took it from Chicago and brought it down to his house in Florida to hide it. And then when they did a search in the crib, they found all the shit he was hiding, even video cameras that they had set up in the room, 4 of them, like in every probably corner. And then videotapes on top of a table, videotapes in a bag, and then a whole cabinet full of videotapes. And there was even porn playing on a big screen in a conference room. This was in a conference room. This man is sick. He has a sexual addiction. He cannot help himself. He has to have sex. I think this is probably even why he's having issues with his hernia and his hands. He's probably shaking so much because he can't have sex. He hasn't had pussy. He needs it. He's bugging out in there because he needs sex. And him jerking off is not doing it. This man needed help. He really needed help. And you know what? It's too late. Now it is way too late. It's too late in the game for him to get help. Maybe he can be reformed. Maybe. This could happen because it happens to people, They do change. But right now, he's having issues. And he can't control himself. And all this evidence, they threw out this evidence because of the fact that this officer was a new jack and he didn't do the proper search. He went into a room he shouldn't have went in. It said, private, do not enter. But, like the officer said, he had probable cause. And the probable cause was that he was being charged with child's pornography and indicted for all that stuff in Chicago. So they were doing a search warrant to search his home because they did arrest him on those charges. And it's because they found pictures. And when they went into the other room, they found these pictures, they found these videotapes, they found actual commercial porns, like movie that were made to buy and purchase from actual porn stars. This guy is crazy. Like, he needs help. He needs help. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my commentary once again. It's Diva the Divine Light. And make sure you like this video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you press it on all so you can get all my notifications of my videos as I upload them. And you guys have a wonderful evening. And Diva the Divine Light is out. Peace.
must have called 1,000 times.